What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel that you know and love. It is Pulse Metrics. Today we're going to be doing something a little bit different. Today we're going to be reviewing some of the Madden 25 ratings coming up. Now we're still waiting to hear from the quarterbacks and linebackers, but I feel like there's been enough ratings to keep you guys updated on some. So quick disclaimer as usual, if you disagree with anything I say, anything at all, please let me know down in the comments what you agree, what you change, what ratings would you change. So without further ado, let's get straight into grading and reviewing the Madden 25 ratings. Cue the intro. Alright, so here we are at Madden25.com, electricarts.com, and you can see that the cover athlete Christian McCaffrey is currently a 99 overall. I think this is well deserved. Last year he was obviously the rushing yards leader with over 1,400, had 14 touchdowns and 7 receiving touchdowns as well. Next up we have our highest rated tight end. We have Travis Kelce. I think also this is well deserved. I think he really should be a 99 till the day he retired. Last year he had a little bit of a downfall, only had 5 touchdowns, a lot of downfall to his previous year, which he had 12. You know, they still won the Super Bowl. I think it really only makes sense to make Travis Kelce the highest rated, since he was the one who beat the second highest rated George Kittle in the Super Bowl. Next up we have Trent Williams at also a 99 overall, and Tyreek Hill also at a 99 overall. I think these four are in the 99 club. I think Trent Williams really deserves this one too, because he barely ever lets up sacks and QB pressures on Brock Purdy. That's why Brock Purdy was able to have so much success, in which he only got sacked a little over 20 times last year. And Tyreek Hill obviously having over 1,700 yards and 13 touchdowns. He continues to improve each year. He's just one of those guys that only gets better with age. Next we have Justin Jefferson, barely missing out of the 99 club this year, counting 98 overall. I think, you know, this is still a very high rating. I think it's still well deserved. I mean, he missed a lot of games last year due to injury, but was still managing to get 1,000 yards in only 10 games. We have Micah Parsons and Myles Garrett at a 98. I think Myles Garrett should be in the 99 club ever since, you know, he got the Defensive Player of the Year award last year. No way, shape, or form should he be the same overall as Micah Parsons. Although I will say that Micah Parsons does deserve this 98, both having a little over 14 sacks last year and very similar amount of tackles. We have our highest rated defensive tackle right here. We have Chris Jones, again counting for 10 sacks as a defensive tackle. For defensive tackles, it's a little harder to get to the quarterback since you have like 2 guys blocking you at once. And he still had over 10 sacks last year. And when the Eagles played the Chiefs, he was able to get 2 sacks on Jalen Hurts. I really think that Chris Jones deserves this rating, 97. We have George Kittle at a 97 and Jesse Bates the third as a 97. You have our second highest rated tight end and our highest rated safety. Obviously, Jesse Bates getting 6 interceptions and over 100 tackles last year for the Falcons. I really think that this is a well-deserved rating. George Kittle had over 1,000 yards as a tight end. And 6 touchdowns as well. I really think that he's been so valuable for the 49ers. He's been and by far Brock Purdy's #1 target based on how many targets he's been getting. Next up we have Max Crosby, Sauce Gardner, and TJ Watt, all at 97s. I really think that TJ Watt should be in the 99 club. For one, he had a lot of QB pressures. He had 19 sacks. He had more than Myles Garrett. I just think that they just could. Last year they made him a 94. I just really think that they continue to disrespect TJ Watt over and over again. This 97 rating, most people would be happy with it, but I think he should really be in the 99 club based on how good his stats were. You know, obviously, again, for almost 20 sacks. As for Sauce Gardner and Max Crosby, if you guys saw my awards predictions video, I predicted that Max Crosby was going to get Defensive Player of the Year, mainly because he just continues to improve every single year. Obviously, you know, 2022 he had 12 sacks. This year he had 14 sacks. Last year he had a little bit less tackles than he did this year. I just think that Max Crosby, if he does continue to get better, he could potentially join the 99 club. And as for Sauce Gardner, I mean, what can I say? He's the highest corner in the league. He accounted for 32 passes defended. CeeDee Lamb as a 96 and Zach Martin as a 97. I mean, that's very well deserved. Zach Martin still obviously doesn't let up very many sacks. He's still one of the best offensive guards in the entire league. CeeDee Lamb had 12 touchdowns, over 17 yards last year. Had the most receptions out of any receiver at over 130. Jalen Ramsey, 96. I mean, he's done a phenomenal job so far there too. I think this is a well-deserved rating. We have Nick Bosa at a 96 overall. I think that's very fair. He dropped from a 98 last year, mainly because he fell off a little bit. In 2022, he had 19 sacks. This year, he only had 10. I mean, it was not as good of a... So we got Nick Bosa at a 96. I think that's a very fair rating for what he was in 2023. In 2023, he was a 98. This year, he's a 96. I mean, he fell off a little bit last year. He had 19 sacks. This year, he had only 10. He was not nearly as strong as he was 2022 when he did win the defensive rookie of the year. Now we have Nick Chubb at a 96. Woo. I don't know about this one. He only dropped a point from last year, and he missed multiple games last year. I think this is a little too high for Nick Chubb. Penny Sewell at a 96. I think obviously this is a very well-deserved rating. He is a right tackle. He had one of the highest pass blocking grades and running blocking grades in the entire league. A.J. Brown, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Dexter Lawrence, Lane Johnson, all 95s. Obviously, A.J. Brown, you know, one of the best receivers. Nobody can cover him. Like, a couple times, people have tried to double cover him, but it just hasn't worked. Although his stats have dropped down a little bit. Last year, he had 11. This year, he had 7. Not much of a difference in yards, though, but I don't know, A.J. Brown, it was a little bit of a down year for him. Amon-Ra St. Brown has, although improved from an 87 all the way up to a 95, accounting for over 1,500 yards and 10 touchdowns. Dexter Lawrence has had 5 sacks, a lot of QB pressures last year. I think that's well-deserved. He's one of the best defensive tackles in the league, especially getting 5 sacks, 4 defensive tackles. That's a lot. Lane Johnson, 95 overall. I mean, come on. Even though he's aging, really starting to age, he is still obviously one of the best right tackles. Has a very high run blocking grade. Now we have Pat Surtain and Tyron Smith at 95s. I think Pat Surtain really deserves this too. Had most of the interceptions on his team. Him and Justin Simmons were a powerful secondary duo last year. Tyron Smith, the guy just added to the Jets, really should make sure that what happened to Aaron Rodgers last year won't happen again. We have Chris Lindstrom at it, only a 94. I think that's a little low, not gonna lie. Antoine Winfield Jr. Had 6 forced fumbles last year. I think it was 4 interceptions. 3 interceptions, and I think 4 recoveries. Antoine Winfield Jr. really deserves the second highest safety grade. Devontae Adams, Derrick Henry, Laramie Tunsil, all 94s. I think Derrick Henry. Him and Nick Chubb should actually switch. Because Derrick Henry played a full season, came in second in most yards, and second in touchdowns. Actually, it wasn't second in touchdowns. Well, at least for running backs anyway. Devontae Adams really is starting to progress, mainly because, you know, he has Gardner Minshew as his quarterback. When he was good, he had Aaron Rodgers as his quarterback. But anyway, he only counted for barely over 1,000 yards and 8 touchdowns. So we have Mark Andrews at a 94, Quinnen Williams, Tristan Wirfs, all are 94s. Frank Ragnow, Jamar Chase, Jair Alexander, Mika Fitzpatrick are all 93s. I think Jamar Chase really dropped down just a hair because, you know, he wasn't really as significant last year, neither were the Bengals. Same with Jair Alexander. I think that's a little bit of a step down from where he was last year. Creed Humphrey, Justin Majubike, who had 13 sacks for a defensive tackle, by the way. L'Jarius Sneed, Saquon Barkley, Stephon Diggs, Teron Armstead are all 92s. I think Saquon Barkley will be a more significant running back if he can minimize the injuries. But he's on a running team, so he should be really good, and plus he's behind one of the best O-lines. Stephon Diggs, 92. I think that's a very well-deserved rating, and it's a fair rating because, you know, he dropped down a lot because, you know, he had a little bit of a down year. Overall, the Bills had a down year last year with Josh Allen throwing 18 interceptions. He had 8 of those 29 touchdowns that he threw, though, because he was sharing the ball with Gabe Davis and Dalton Kincaid and potentially Dawson Knox. We're going to wrap it up there for this video, mainly because nobody wants to see me go rant about ratings for hours and hours, but I will keep you guys updated on the quarterbacks. I may do a separate video for that, but don't forget to leave a like on this video and make sure to subscribe. We're on the road to 500 subscribers. Make sure to comment down below if there are any ratings that you've looked at that you disagree with. Let me know, and I'll give my take on that. So without further ado, I'll see y'all guys the next time I upload. Peace.